This is a great reminder of when I was in a pageant for a show. I was not Mrs. Longgrove, I was Mrs. Will County. But we have the former Mrs. Longgrove here, and she made it to become Mrs. Illinois. So we're going to be talking to her today about pageants and her experiences. And she's a flight attendant, and she's got a lot of exciting things to tell us. Also the mother of 8 children, you won't believe it. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi there. My name is Gloria Peach. Originally, I am a Kentucky girl, Southern Illinois, right on the border of Indiana, Illinois, and Kentucky. I cheered for the Cincinnati Bengals years ago. That was cut short, becoming a new mother, and then I made my way to Chicago. I entered pageants. It was such a fun, girly thing to do while I was raising my little girls. So I decided I'm going to enter a pageant, a real pageant, because being married at 17, you are no longer qualified to be in the single Miss Illinois or the single Miss America. So I did seek out, and many years ago, we didn't have the resources. We didn't have internet or ways to find this out. So I had to do a lot of research and send letters to find out, how can I still be a pageant girl? So I made it to Chicago, and a friend of mine, she said, you know, we have pageants, and I think you would be great. So I entered the pageant that you entered many years ago, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
And it was the Mrs. Illinois International Pageant, which over the years we've become and stayed close friends. And we also have more friends that were in this pageant with us. I didn't win that pageant. I was first runner-up, which gave me excellent opportunity then to further into other things, because when you're first runner-up, you still champion a cause. At the time, I believe I had 4, maybe 5 children, and we would go to nursing homes, and we would take flowers. We would call it, you know, like a pamper day. My husband at the time would bring me home flowers or just do something really sweet. Well, to me, I felt like that was a waste of money, because they're beautiful for a day, and then we all enjoyed them. But I said, you know, I know that there's someone else that can enjoy these lovely flowers. So a way to incorporate my children into this volunteering is that we would go to nursing homes, and we, you know, weren't really allowed to just roam through the halls, but we would ask somebody, a coordinator, and say, who needs the flowers today? Who needs a smile? Who needs to be cheered up? So that was kind of a way to bring happiness and love, and also it really made me love pageants even more, because I now get to do something important for other people, which is what life's all about.
Well, I said if I was ever going to lose to anything, I loved losing to Yolanda Goodfellow and you.
Aw, how sweet are you?
It's always nice to lose to the two of you.
And then you know what, and that's very sweet of you to say, because it was a very close-knit group. We had a really nice group that year, didn't we?
And it's hard. It's something that's difficult to do. I mean, all of the clothing changes and all of the different things that, you know, you had to do. It's not an easy thing. People laugh and say it's fluff. It's not.
Oh, fluff. You know, fluff your hair maybe. That's about the most fluff it comes. You're right. You do have to have an extensive wardrobe. You do have to have a body-conscious wardrobe at the time. They didn't make us come out in a bikini or a bathing suit, that pageant.
I wouldn't have done it.
You don't think so?
No.
So we did. We came out, though, in like a leotard, I believe it was.
Or any kind of gym, you could wear gym clothes, tight gym clothes.
Yes, it was a yoga outfit or, so, and you know what? And that still gives you a little bit of anxiety, knowing that there is a large crowd of people out there, and everyone is cheering on their contestant and hoping they win. So yeah, it's not fluff, that's for sure. It takes a lot of...
Well, how many pageants have you been in?
You know, I did do pageants when I was in high school. I did a co-ed pageant. So driving from Southern Illinois, because it was at Zion, Illinois, and that's a 6-hour drive.
Right.
And my parents weren't real sure because growing up on a farm, we weren't the most pageantry family. But like I've always said, it's the small town girls that make the best contestants.
Did you have sisters and brothers?
I do.
Yeah.
I have 2 sisters and I have 1 brother.
Were they in pageants?
Not
No.
even close.
No?
No, they wanted nothing to. Now, don't get me wrong. They like being beautiful and they like to be pampered, but pageantry was not
Not their thing.
Not their thing. No,
It takes nerve.
it does take nerve.
And you were, we can tell by talking to you, of course, that you were Miss Congeniality.
I did win Miss Congeniality, and that's actually a very special trophy that you get because you are voted Miss Congeniality by your fellow contestants. So it can't be a made-up, you can't be fake. You truly have to have the heart where you want to help others. And so, I feel very honored. Maybe I didn't win that year, but winning
Well,
Miss
I think that's a
Congeniality,
great award to win.
it
That
is.
a great
It's a
award to
fun
win.
award. And when your name is called and they're like, Miss Congeniality, at first you think,
Oh, you were
do I
disappointed?
throw the...
I don't know.
right-
That's a happy thing, I think.
It is. But then when you don't win, I think, you know what? Oh, it was a letdown. But that's life. There are reasons sometimes you don't win. If you won everything every time, there has
Well,
to be.
I won a community service award one time from nurse.com, and I was very happy about that because there were other awards people could win as far as being nurses, but I thought the community service was the best one.
That's the exact same thing, isn't it? Because that's a pull from your community where, wow, Karen has made an impact on our community.
Right.
So it's a very,
I like
very
that.
awesome, prestigious award. See, congratulations to
Thank
you,
you.
too.
So what tips would you give people who might want their daughters to go into this or not want their daughters to go into it?
I do believe that it is still a very good thing for young girls. It does teach you respect. You do have to respect yourself as well, too, because not only do you need to go out and buy beautiful clothes and, there are things, and it is a mother-daughter bonding time, too, because you really get to talk to them and pick their brain a little bit about what's important to you. If you win, what are you going to, champion? There has to be a reason that you've entered the pageant, and there has to be a reason for you to give back. So the tips I would give, I think, make yourself better, make your community better, make your surroundings better, and love your contestants. Go in with a happy smile and be friendly, and that's reciprocated. If you go in with a smile, they're going to automatically give you a smile back. So just being kind to others.
Well, you also have to be able to have a pretty good ego or no ego at all to take the rejection of not winning
Yeah.
or not being in the top 10 or whatever.
Oh, and that can be tough because that's happened to me on both occasions where winning Miss Congeniality, becoming first runner-up and not the winner, and then pursuing further because I still knew I had the drive. I mean, God put something in your heart, so believe me, there's a reason. So I continued on, and I prevailed, and I became Mrs. Illinois, United States. I went to the national pageant in Las Vegas, and that's a doozy because that's a big one. And some of the local may be tough, but when you get to a national level,
Well, and the other thing is there's always somebody younger and somebody prettier. I don't care who you are. And, you have to accept that. And in these pageants, there's not always an age limit. So you
Yeah.
could be up against somebody 20 years younger than you are.
you said a mouthful because that's exactly what the Mrs. Pageant is. The Mrs. Pageant does not have a parameter for age. They don't have a talent, which is a nice thing for us ladies, although there are very many talented and educated women. The Mrs. Pageant is for the younger lady that did get married early on and still really wanted to pursue a pageantry life. You're right. The age limit can be 18 as long as you have the Mrs. by your name, you can enter this pageant. So we can have a 20-year-old up against a 50-year-old. And as long as you do have the heart, the drive, and you do have to take care of yourself. You really do. I mean, when you're at the national level, you are in a bathing suit. And you are with well-known...
Do you pick your bathing suit, or do they?
No, we get to pick all
you?
of our wardrobe. As with the Miss America, they usually have sponsors. Well, we don't have sponsors, so this is all on our dime. All the wardrobe, the accessories, the hair, the makeup, the shoes, everything is on your dime. But body conscious, yeah, you do have to do some workout. And that can be very strenuous and time-consuming, and that's where it can take away
Well,
from
you're
your
doing a
children
good
at
job
times.
of it. I'll tell you that. You're doing a great job. Now, tell us about your kids, their age difference.
Well, I do have 8 children. And when I first started this pageantry, I had maybe 4. Like I said, when I cheered for the Bengals, I had 2 at the time, and I had to cut that career short because when you're a young mother and that's what you're doing, you know, so
In case you hear the music, it's my phone. This is going to be a call-in show now.
I love it.
You can call in and tell us if you want to meet Mrs. Illinois.
That would be a great thing. The former Mrs. Illinois, right? So anyway, so back to that, what we were...
I turned this off. I don't know how it managed to turn itself back on.
You know
They're
what?
calling in to date you, I think. It's like,
That's what's happened when you're important, because I see you also have your crown on too.
yeah, the tiny one.
It doesn't matter. So now what are we talking about again?
Your children,
Yes.
the age gap.
My oldest is 33.
That's hard to believe.
And my youngest is 12. So I did have a lot in the very beginning, and then I took a kind of hiatus, 3 or 4 years. So my first is 33, Lindsay. Then I have a 30-year-old Lauren, a 20-year-old Logan, a 26, almost 27, Livia. Then I have a 24, Lacey. Then I have a 20, that's Lexi, a 16-year-old Liberty, and then a 12-year-old Luke.
Now, why all the L's?
I know. And people say that.
Was that on purpose?
It didn't really
Yeah.
start on purpose, but my oldest was going to be Carmen Miranda.
Oh.
No, so when she came out, total difference from Carmen to Lindsay. And then Lauren, I loved back in the day the Ralph Lauren perfume. So I'm sure that perfume had to do something with her
the
coming
name.
around.
Yeah.
So I named her Lauren. And then when Logan, I love the name Logan's Run, or the movie Logan's Run. So Logan was so appropriate. And then after that, I said, oh, I can't really stop the L theme, because my 4th is Livia. We were going to name her Olivia. You just can't do that. So my husband said, there's no such name as just Livia. You can do anything you want
do
these days,
anything you
can't
want,
you?
right, yeah.
We've got some names out there. As a matter of fact, I have a new grandson, and his name is Knight. So
How's it spelled? K?
Yes,
K-N?
K-N-I-G-H-T. So I think you can do whatever you want.
Well, that's like, people used to be able to Google me, and because my name is Karen, K-A-R-O-N, because my father's name was Ronald, so I think they wanted a boy first. Anyway, so it's Karen Gibson. I used to be the only one. Now there's a young, famous football player with my name. I don't know how he got my name. His mother must watch the show. I don't know. And the lady who ran the chorus at the royal wedding is also Karen, spelled the same way as mine. So now they come up first.
So now we're behind the scenes.
That's right.
Which is okay. Sometimes we don't always want to be the first, right?
Right. That's right.
I know, too funny.
So you also have a career besides all of this.
I do. And I've been very blessed. I am a flight attendant with Southwest Airlines, the Love Airlines. And after many years being a stay-at-home mom, I kind of passed the hat of pageantry on to my daughters a little. Again, they're not big into pageantry. I did have one. she did very well in the Miss Illinois pageant, and she made top, I think, 5, and she won the swimsuit award.
Wow.
And after that year, she chose not to do it. But I still have a 16-year-old that's interested a little bit. I said, I think I'm going to get a job. And my kids looked at me like cross-eyed. Mom?
You had a
like
job.
raising 8 children isn't enough? And when you do pageantry, it is just such a fun, it just fills your life with, you know, excitement. I said, I think I need a little extra excitement. I'm done. You can only do so much cooking. You can only do so much cleaning or working out or shopping or lunching with your girlfriends. So I said, okay, I'm going to get, and you know what? I should back this up because I don't want to make it sound like, you know, misprivileged that that's what I do. I sit at home and eat bonbons all day because raising children, no.
I'd rather go to a job than clean a house.
Thank you.
Tell you.
Thank you.
Or be cooking for all those people all the time.
And it's,
You know, my husband used to say I was a good cook. I said, don't tell anybody because I don't want to do it. It's like, doesn't fit my image.
isn't that the
Yeah.
truth? I've taken my grandmother's recipe and I've got one staple and they all know it. It's a roast. And it's real simple, but I don't tell them how simple it is because it makes the house smell so good when they come home from school.
But just the laundry alone.
oh,
I mean,
yeah. Yes.
big job.
Thank goodness they're old enough to do it themselves. Even my 12-year-old, I'll catch him sneaking some stuff in the laundry. Which
Although,
is a
does
nice
it help, like the older ones help take care of the
Yes,
younger ones?
100%. We've all been such a large knit family that we all help each other. So back to this flight attendant gig. I said, okay, Mom's going to get a job. And they said, what can you do? I said, I don't know, but it's going to be epic. So I put my name in, and I got called right away. Now, anyone that knows Southwest Airlines, it is a very, very tough job to get to become a flight attendant. Not on education maybe, but you do have, they do fit a certain profile.
Personality.
Yes, it's very customer service and very personality driven. So I got called, and you have a phone interview, and I passed my phone interview, and then you have a face-to-face. Now you're sitting across the HR team, and they're asking you some hard questions. And I'm thinking, oh, am I in school? I mean,
What did they ask you?
well, you know, they want to know, why do you want to be a flight attendant? And with all the other major airline carriers hiring, why would you choose Southwest? And you know what? There really was no quick answer, but a few of the other questions that they were trying to drill me on, because they're like, well, are you able to fly on weekends, and are you able to leave, you know, on vacations? And the girl in front of me, her little cute answer was, well, I have no baggage. Well, when it came to me, I said, well, I do have 8 children, and some people might call that baggage, but I call it luggage, and I'm going somewhere. And they just smiled and said, okay, I think you fit the bill. So with me doing that, it's been quite a godsend. My children travel free, and my parents travel free, so I've been very blessed that I've got to take my mom on some really nice vacations lately. And
Well, that's wonderful. I don't fly. I have, but I don't. I take the train, Amtrak, all the way. I want to go over these really quick because we only have a few minutes.
Yeah.
We have this book, Eat, Live, and Thrive Diet, a lifestyle plan to rev up your midlife metabolism. So that might be something that you're interested in doing at this
Very
time of your
much
life.
so.
Next, we have The Elegant Warrior, How to Win Life's Trials Without Losing Yourself. And it's extraordinary stories from inside the courtroom with actionable advice to use outside the courtroom, written by an attorney. And that might help you, because I've been in the courtroom lately on the complaining end, not on the losing end. So it might be very helpful. I haven't had a chance to read all these. This one is interesting. You Can Prevent a Stroke. And this is by an MD at the Fox Hill Foundation. And you have 1,000 heartbeats a day. And I often say, I don't know about people who use theirs and do a lot of exercising. I don't know if they're using all theirs up or not. You got to be careful of that. That's a lot of wear and tear over the years as we age. Natural aging leads to artery plaque, high blood pressure, and slower, irregular heartbeats. You can do everything right, time will still pass. But here's preventable steps in here. You can prevent a stroke. Then we have mind easing, the 3-layered healing plan for anxiety and depression. And there are some people who have recently lost people or lost relationships, lost jobs and things like that, that have suffered depression. And I worked in psychiatry for 6 years, and I know it can be very debilitating. So these are some of the things that might help you through it. Then we have authentic health for losing weight, feeling better, mastering stress, sleeping well every night, and enjoying a sense of purpose by Gus Vickery, MD. Authentic health. It said millions of Americans battle chronic weight gain, physical pain, fatigue, anxiety, and depression. But when they seek help from healthcare system, the only treatment is often aimed at temporarily alleviating their symptoms rather than the underlying problems. So this could be of a great help to you. Then we have Work the Future Today, finding your path to purpose, passion, and profit. That's right, profit. Work the Future Today is an ebullient paean of the power of story. What we need, the authors preach, is a new story based on purpose, not profit. When a mind towards sustaining the planet rather than amassing money, this book guides you to finding your aligning purpose, passion, and goals to create the new life-embracing story for yourself, your organization, and the world. Purpose, place, practice. Okay, we've got that. And I did want to mention this water. I've mentioned it once before. Drink and be beautiful. The rose, this is an apple one, rose water beverage, bringing you the benefits of roses and saffron in a bottle. Dates back to ancient history and Cleopatra and Michelangelo because of powerful and enriching effects. Now, saffron, they say, helps also with some chronic pain and things like that. Based on the traditional family recipe, this provides a crisp, light, and refreshing taste. Favorite flavor. One of them didn't make it here. I'm trying, oh, this one. This is the one that I had. Didn't make it to the studio. This was the peach one. They're very sweet, too. If you're looking for something very sweet that's not as unhealthy, the carbohydrates are 11 grams in this, so it's not terrible. Like, you know, some of the drinks that you buy, you have to look at them, they're like 44 and 50 grams, which is, we never were allowed to drink pop except once a week. So some of these things that are here now that you can give your children, they're a lot better off. I think that's all that I have, so I'm going to let you finish out. And, oh no, wait a minute. Could you hand me that underneath? I know we don't have too much time left, but there's a couple of things I want to mention here too.
Yes.
Okay, I guess we did empty this out. So we have everything here. Okay, so some women are looking for something to do. They are stay-at-home moms, which has got to be the hardest job. When I stay at home, I really don't like it because there's a lot of things I have to do that I didn't do when I had a full career going all the time.
Yes.
So give them some emphasis on how they can do it because they might be holding back or afraid to. You know, I only went into the pageant. I wasn't a pageant person. And I was a registered nurse, and we wore uniforms all the time. But I did it for one of the TV shows. And it was an enlightening thing, and it was interesting, and it was fun. But sometimes people don't have the oomph to go do that.
And that is very true. And I think you would have made a wonderful Mrs. Illinois because you are out in the community, and that's really the face of a crown. It's not all beauty and glamour. What we want and what we're looking for, we want women that have an interesting personality, someone that wants to give back to their community, and somebody that really is engaging. I mean, when you touch people, it can change a lot of lives.
Well, I have to tell you two stories about that. One, I told you earlier that I went to the Palm Beach Royal Ball, the Red Cross Ball, where everybody's asked to wear their decorations and tiaras if they have them. So, of course, I wore mine. I walked in, and somebody that lived there said to me, no one will talk to you here because you're not from Palm Beach, and everything here is done by status, and they don't know who you are. And so my husband and I got up to dance, and I had one of these on that said Mrs. Will County. I'm not Mrs. Longgrove. And we had a line of ambassadors standing to find out where Will Country was. But the other
Right?
funny thing was we immediately went on a cruise after that. And I had this with, and I said to my husband, there were 6 men on there that were dancing with the single women on the cruise. So, and I had told the cruise director to put one at our table each night so that this shy lady at our table would get to meet them all.
I love
Well,
it.
all 6 at the end said that there's a passenger talent show at the end, and we want to take you up there. I said, I don't have a talent. I can't sing a note. And they said, well, we're just going to walk you up there. Just wear your stuff.
That's
My husband
enough.
said, you are not going to wear that, are you? He said, first of all, nobody on this cruise knows where Will County is. I said, well, they asked me to do it. I'm going to do it. I went up there. The whole mezzanine was from Joliet, Illinois, which was Will County. So they were all
Yes.
clapping.
Don't
So
you
you
love
never
it?
know who's going to be watching you.
You just never know.
But it was great fun.
And it was very interesting because you had the whole crowd wanting to speak with you.
That's right.
And you know what? A crown and a sash really does create
An
an
ambiance,
atmosphere.
yeah.
It sure does. And that's why we want somebody that wants to champion and make this world a better place. That's what we do.
Well, it's like with this television show, you know, I love doing it because we give people information on things, outspoken things, both in health and other things that they might want to do or hear about and stuff like that. But the best part of it is when people come up to me and they say that they saw me, not that they saw me, but that I now get to know them. You know, and I've developed a lot of friends that way,
Gosh,
too.
yes.
And that's the part that I love. And I had my nephews out one day, and we were in a restaurant after I took them to an amusement park. And I mean, I had no makeup on, my hair was flying, it was very hot out. And we went and sat in the back room because my nephew had noticed that they had water sprinklers in the front part of the area. He was afraid of them or something.
Oh,
so we
boy.
went and sat in the back room alone. And a woman came back there with her daughter and said to me, I know I'm not supposed to bother you. My husband told me not to bother you, but I just want to tell you I watch your show. I said, I'm in the back room hiding so no one sees me. I'm not because I don't want to talk to people. I want to talk to everybody. I mean, strangers can become your best friends.
Well, yes,
So I said, no,
100%.
I'm hiding because I don't look good right now, not because of that. So and that's the same with you. You get to meet a lot of interesting people.
Yes, and it's very satisfying and humbling, but it's the best experience. So if you are sitting out there and thinking about becoming Miss Illinois or Miss Long Grove or Mrs. Will County, please do. There's all sorts of avenues. Like I said, now with the internet, you can find every way to enter a pageant. And there's other pageants that are on a national level that you can still do that's very fun as well.
So you don't have a website or anything. So if people wanted to contact you for any reason, you could email me at asktvnurse@yahoo.com. And of course, we have a website. If you go to American TV Productions, you can also get a hold of us. And I want to thank you so much for calling me and for joining me, and maybe we can get together with Yolanda Goodfellow, who was
Yes.
Mrs. Illinois, who's been on the show before, probably 10
Yes.
years ago, and she is now trying to avoid a hurricane by going to Italy or Spain
I
or
don't
someplace
blame
like
her.
that.
I
She
don't
too
blame
was a
her.
flight attendant.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, we've
so
got a lot to talk about.
It must be good background
It is
for,
good
for
background.
joining these
That's
different
it.
things.
Maybe you'll see me on a Southwest flight
That's right.
to
Say hello to her.
Cancun.
And thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. I'm Karen Gibson. Thank you for joining us.